and cataloging. Welcome to Acquisitions and Cataloging Users Group, ACUG. And my name is Sarai Barrios. I will be leading the PowerPoint presentation and the presentation. My co-chair, Mary Kelly Marquez, she is from Warren Bill. We're both co-chairs of ACUG. And today I know we have a SWAN team. We can start by Sam, if you can introduce yourself.
Sure. Hi, everybody. I am one of the SWAN supporters, we'll call us, of this group, and I am a BIB services consultant here, and I will pass it to Claudia.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Claudia Nixon, Bibliographic Services Consultant. I think everyone who's here knows me, but well, it's nice to see you all. Thank you for coming. And I'll pass it to Vicky.
Good morning, everybody. I am Vicki Totten. I am the consultant for the IT and Systems Support team, and I'll pass it to Scott.
Scott, unfortunately, is unable to attend. Vicky.
Oh, I think you're right. I saw him log in, but he then logged out.
He apologized that he won't be able to be in our meeting today.
Let's see. So anyone else from SWAN? I don't.
Am I dreaming? I don't think Mary Kelly introduced herself, right, Mary Kelly?
Sarai introduced me. I'm Mary Kelly Marquez. I'm the other chair of the Acquisitions and Cataloging User Group. Hello, everyone, and welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. And feel free, anyone, to reach out to SWAN or any of the co-chairs. So let's begin. So I'm not sure if everyone got the update for the updates on closed captioning. As you see in the slide, you have various ways to check for an item that has closed captioning for patrons with hearing impaired or who also prefer the closed captioning option. Documentation is available on SWAN. Of course, all items that have fields with closed captioning, and I believe they're in the 596 area, they will show up in Aspen. So if you do notice an item, DVD or audiovisual that does include closed captioning and does not show up, please send a ticket to SWAN and they will update that for you.
Actually, can I just jump in? For an item to display in Aspen, like with that CC where the arrow is pointing, like closed caption CC, you have to have a subject heading 650 tag video recordings for the hearing impaired. Otherwise, it won't display. So if you notice that an item is closed caption, but it's not displaying, we go on the record in workflows, and it may be that it's missing that 650 tag video recordings for the hearing impaired. So there are different ways to find them in Aspen. Like Sarai created the slide, you can type in the title and then video recordings for the hearing impaired, or you can just type Lego movie hearing impaired, just part of that subject heading, just hearing impaired, and you will bring up the records. You can also use the filter facet in Aspen by filtering by subject heading. So then you will select the subject heading under that facet, video recordings for the hearing impaired. So there are two different ways to search. But as I said, it's very important that the record in workflows has that 650 tag video recordings for the hearing impaired.
Awesome. And I just want to do a little demonstration. See. So, alrighty. I know it did take, I was like looking at the wrong area before, so I could check for Lego movie. The Lego movie hearing impaired. So
I think you had a typo, I think. Oh, okay, it brought up. Okay.
yeah, it's
Okay, good.
Aspen
Sorry.
is so good. No. I'm glad you
Mhm.
so
So
yeah. Uh-huh.
you have to click on the particular edition to see.
Hold on. Oh, clicked the wrong one. Oh, okay. Show edition. So as we see, there is a CC there, as Claudia mentioned. Also, we go to the subject area. We do have that facets option for video recordings for the hearing impaired. And as a third option, you could always type in the phrase video recordings for the hearing impaired, which is something that SWAN has as a standard. I did go to workflows, and workflows, if you do type in video recordings for the hearing impaired under subject heading, as Claudia mentioned, all the items with that 650 will pull up. So if you guys have any questions, type it in the text. If not, we will continue to the next slide. And the second slide is BNT automated email issues. Is Claudia?
Was Vicky going to speak about this?
I was just going to say, I am stealing this slide. Okay. So if you don't mind, I'm going to kind of flip it, and I'm going to cover the outage issue that they had first, and then we'll open it up to discuss what libraries are doing with the issues we've seen from Baker and Taylor. So thank you, everyone, for all of your patience. I know it's been a tough few weeks. This went back to August 22nd. That's actually how long it took for Baker and Taylor to get this taken care of. And I think that's it's a really good reminder about how careful we all need to be when we're dealing with email and things like that. All it takes is just that one executable to get through, and it can be very ugly. So thank you for your patience as we try to make sure that everything is safe for all of the SWAN libraries and our Symphony server. So don't know if you saw it yesterday. We did send out another SwanCom, and then after the SwanCom, we updated our known issue as well. So we did open it up and say absolutely everyone can start running their excuse me, everyone can start running their EDI retrieval reports and their BookX 12 reports. So with that in mind, I'm just wondering if anyone had any issues downloading their files from Baker and Taylor with your EDI retrieval reports.
Feel free to unmute yourself if you want to share or type in the chat.
So that's yes, you were able to download the, I know I gave you two questions, right? Okay. And the question we have here now is, for those reports that are scheduled, have you allowed them to go through? We did, what we had done in the background is we adjusted all of the Baker and Taylor vendors so that they would not be included in the EDI retrieval reports. So that is fine. Now we have updated those vendors again, and they are being included. So we're hoping there shouldn't be an issue. With the libraries we tested with yesterday, there were no issues, and they were able to download the files, and the files that were downloaded did seem to be fine. We're not finding any type of malware in them, and any executables or anything like that. So so those should be fine. And we have here, we didn't run them yesterday, so they're doing their normal schedule run this morning. Thank you very much. And is that just for EDI invoices, or can we start to place new book orders? That's my next topic, Rebecca. And for Gail, we don't use EDI, I believe, but can we proceed as normal yet? Okay, Mark download would not go through, and EDI orders this morning and everything seemed okay. I'm so happy to hear that. Everything did appear to be going well. So I'm glad to hear that everyone seems to be back to normal for that. I would like you all to keep an eye out to see if you're missing any invoices. And that's probably going to be any invoice that's dated after August 17th through September 6th. We did find with the libraries we tested with yesterday, they were missing invoices. They had the paper copies that came with the deliveries, but the invoices had not been downloaded. So any issues that you have with that, we're going to ask you to go ahead and reach out to support at Baker and Taylor and ask them to reload those files. I see here that Rebecca says she's been hand entering the invoices anyway. So you're not bringing in any EDI files at all, Rebecca? And you can unmute if you'd like to talk too. Okay, you're still not able to import. Okay. I see, that's right. You went to some manual orders. Okay. All right. Yeah, it has been quite a long haul for Baker and Taylor. I feel kind of bad for them. I really do. It's a bad situation to be in, that's for sure. Okay, so when we updated the known issue yesterday, we said that you should go ahead and see if you were able to log into Baker and Taylor. There were a lot of issues with really high traffic on the website. I believe it crashed their website a couple of times. We did have some libraries that reported that they couldn't even get to the website. And then when they were able to log in, they weren't able to get to their manage carts. So I'm wondering if anyone took the advice that we posted in the known issue and tried yesterday evening or early this morning, and if you were able to get to your carts. Oh, that's wonderful. Yay. And were you able to download that file then? Yesterday, everything was unable to access anything but downloaded some cart files this morning. That is wonderful. I'm so happy to hear that. Did you have any kind of, was it really slow this morning when you downloaded your cart files? Okay, so still a little slow. And oh, Rebecca, that's funny. You had been so long, you had to, you could barely remember your password. Okay, and yes, you do, Marcy, you do have the green light now. We want everyone to feel that they can go ahead and go out there and order. The reason we asked you to wait yesterday is because of that extreme issue with slowness. We didn't want everyone to get even more frustrated. I know how frustrating it's been. And we also wanted to make sure that any issues that anybody was seeing with their carts and downloading was actually just due to was there an actual issue with the file that you were bringing in, that MARC file that you were bringing in when you did it? We know that one attempt yesterday in downloading a cart, it just stopped completely at 95%, but we have a feeling that that probably had to do with a connectivity issue rather than an issue with the file itself. So So that's really good to hear that you guys should be ready to go, even though it is still a little slow. And from what I had heard, there were issues with the Baker and Taylor site before then. The later in the day, the slower it was. So I'm wondering if that has something to do with it as well. And Janine, you're saying that yours went really quickly, so yay. And you did do them first thing. And Denise, you just downloaded your cards and it didn't have any lag time. I'm so happy to hear that. Okay, and so yes, I agree. Everyone is going to be so happy to hear that you can order again. So I'm just wondering if you have any more questions about the Baker and Taylor issue, this particular issue that they had with their ransomware. I did notice this morning they updated their websites and completely removed any kind of messaging that they had with the ransomware. So I'm hoping that that means that nobody has reported any issues with them. Oh, Rebecca, that's a good question. I'm not sure. Your question is, do we have a limit on how large the carts can be in Baker and Taylor? It used to be 150 items. I'm not really sure. That might be a question that you should ask Baker and Taylor. I'm sure that everyone has had some really large carts since they've resumed ordering, and they should be able to let you know. And Becky's asking if anyone else has been able to log into the customer service portal that allows seeing the status of open orders. And do you need the new IP address for that? As far as we knew for the new IP address, it's only if your library whitelists whitelists IP address and websites that you can get to. Everyone else that I was talking with yesterday, it seemed like they were able to get into the portal with no issue, and they did not have to update the IP address, Becky. So if you did have to whitelist that new IP address, I'm not sure. And unfortunately, I'm not as familiar with TitleSource 360. I was under the impression that you could see your orders and the status of those orders through your TitleSource 360. So can anyone else speak to that a little bit? Right, Becky, you are talking about that separate website, the customer service portal. So again, forgive my ignorance with TitleSource 360. I did not work with it before I came to Swan, and I'm not working with it here. So, and I think that's a shortcoming on TitleSource 360 if you can't review your orders right there. And Joy has just typed in that she just accessed the customer service portal without any issues. So Becky, if you're able to try that again, let us know if you're still not able to get in. And Laura, you're asking if we said you should contact tech support if you're missing invoices. I believe it is tech support that you have to contact regarding your invoice files. It seems to me that when I was at Cicero, when we needed them to put files back into the FTP sites, it was tech support that we had to contact. And Diana, you're saying you've never been able to log into the customer support portal at LaGrange Park. Oh, okay. I would say if you're still having issues with not being able to log into that customer service portal, you should reach out to Baker and Taylor. And if you could let us know then that if you're able to get in or not, for both Becky and Diana, let us know if you're still not able to get in. I don't know that we would be able to help you out at all with that, but it would be nice to have that knowledge to see if other libraries are reporting the same issue to us. Okay, and Joy is thinking that you have to have Baker and Taylor set up that access for you. Okay, so does anybody else have any other questions about the ransomware that Baker and Taylor went through?
I do probably have like a comment to add. I know that Aaron on the fireside chat, he did mention that, although this is in this particular instance, Baker and Taylor, it was a ransomware, although they've had other issues in the past throughout the year. And I was just wondering how um, libraries, do they have a backup plan, or during this in this instance, during this ransomware, were they using more Amazon, or were they just waiting for Baker and Taylor to just go back up? Or maybe use another vendor?
So Rebecca is saying that they used Amazon in the past 2 weeks. And yeah, I'm setting up new Ingram accounts for the selectors. I have another one that's waiting, but there's an email system per Kurt Leopard if you wanted to go manual. Oh, okay. And another comment that our selectors definitely amped up. They're ordering via Amazon. Let's see, waited for Baker and Taylor. If there was an immediate need, they used Ingram or Amazon. Warrenville is just in a holding pattern for the moment, and management team was going to discuss the next step if they couldn't go back to Baker and Taylor, another library using Amazon. Another one, we didn't order more than usual from Amazon. Our volume is too much for that. Another library waited, but they were going to order bestsellers from Amazon if they didn't come back up soon. Another library waited for Baker and Taylor. Oh, got a delivery yesterday. Yay. And another one, we waited for Baker and Taylor. Our selectors don't seem interested in choosing another vendor.
Yeah, that's interesting to know, because I think as libraries, we always try to create a backup plan in case anything goes just awry. And it seems to be that many vendors nowadays are being targeted by these cyber attackers.
Mhm.
So it's always good, to plan ahead and to have a plan just in case something does go wrong. But if you guys are, want to go ahead, let me know. Vicky, do you think we should go to the next slide already?
Oh yeah, if everyone's done discussing this, and I'm not sure if we had somewhere later. I know that there was a big discussion about Ingram out there on the forums too, and the issues that you have with ordering from them. So
Does anyone want to touch anything on Ingram?
okay, then I am done stealing your presentation.
All
Thanks.
right. And just to let everyone know, in case you don't know, you could always see the updates on the SWAN website. I know they've been really good about sending mass emails about the changes, or or the status of Baker and Taylor, and also on the website. So that's always a good resource.
Thanks for
And
that shout out, Sarai.
so our next slide is documentation overhaul.
Don't know what happened here, but it cut the title.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's the day in metadata working group update.
Okay.
I don't know how it cut the title there on your slide. Okay. Well, as I said in the beginning, Scott apologizes for not being able to be here to give an update. So I will do my best to speak on his behalf. He said the group met in August and is working on overhauling the documentation to make it more visible on our support site. The final draft is still with the group for editing and final touches. It's a new charge statement, new statement on immigration related subject headings. And you can view the draft of these documents on our support site under meetings and documents. The drafts are there if you're curious to take a look. The new statement on immigration related subject headings covers what's taking place in a broader context and of those terms and what SWAN has done and why. The group is also working to develop a name authority supplement that will accommodate and provide access when authors change names. Authors, contributors, and creators, they change names, so that will be searchable and linkable on our catalog. So they are working on that supplement. And for example, when an author changes name and then there's a mismatch between the authority file, excuse me, I have really bad allergies. So when there's that mismatch between the authority file and what the person's name is now, so that this supplement will correct those errors when searching. And there are also cases when the author's name is not in Roman alphabet and is transliterated different in the item versus what's in the authority file. So this can become a problem when for patrons who speak other language, and this can become a problem when they try to access those records. So this name authority supplements hopefully will correct all these discrepancies and work as it should work. And I put a link there to the documents if you want to take a look at the drafts and what the group has been working on. And also on our support site, under cataloging, scripts and processes, subject heading maintenance, you can take a look at changes that have already taken place, like with the illegal alien, those subject headings. So the documentation is there if you want to take a look. We can go to the next slide, right?
Sure.
Thank you.
I just want to add some things.
Mhm.
I know from the I think it's so important to have these conversations. I know initially in the year, here in this ACCA group for acquisitions and cataloging users group, we began having conversations about, the importance of having gender transition fields, um, you know, non-Roman, non-English names, and just having that in the record and how to apply it best in workflows and just for access, more importantly for patron access. And I feel that everything has just from how we started in the year to now. Things have really developed in this area, so thank you for all those who contributed to the conversation about this. Something else I do want to mention is that I know Scott has a Rails. So if you guys are in Rails, he has a forum for this.
If you go to the next slide, Sarai, you can pull up that information.
In there, that is the slide right there. So you can subscribe to this listserv. You could, be an active member, or, just get those emails and just updates on what the working group is doing for the DEI.
Actually, Mary Kelly is part of that. Do you want to tell us a little bit, Mary Kelly? I don't want to put it on the spot.
No, I was prepared. I was just waiting.
Thank you,
Claudia. I am part of the DEI metadata networking group. In that group, I'm part of a subcommittee that is working on LGBTQ+ topics. There is a group working on immigration, one working on Native American, and one working on disability and accessibility. If you're interested in any of those topics and would like to contribute in any way, shape, or form, as Sarai has mentioned, you can click on the DEI metadata listserv link and sign up. They are always taking new members. Rachel Fisher is from CCS, and Scott obviously is SWAN. So we're doing good work, and it's it's pretty, as Sarai said, we've come a long way, and we're still working on the documentation and finalizing things. I know for our subgroup and the immigration one, as Claudia mentioned, with illegal immigration and how we're working around those issues, because the Library of Congress subject headings is still kind of icky, for lack of a better word. So yeah, so please feel free to join, participate. We'd love to have you.
Oh, quick question, Mary Kelly, while I still have you there. I'm just curious to know, I mean, how has the group helped like other libraries with like their collections, or is it just mainly on working on terms and things like that? Standards.
Not sure exactly what you're asking. I know we are working on documentation, so if someone had a question about when to use an alternate term, there's going to be documentation on the support site where you can go to look up something. When you should look in Homosaurus or LCG FT, I'm probably saying that one wrong, the genre forms. So the documentation will be provided soon, at least for the LGBTQ. I believe the immigration one is already done, or they're polishing it up. I know in our working group, the LGBTQ+, we're finalizing things now. Okay. And I can't speak to the other two groups because Rachel didn't let me know where they were at.
Thank
Hi,
you.
this is Joy from Tinley Park. I'm on one of the subcommittees also. And like Mary Kelly said, that the immigration one, the white paper is pretty much finished. We haven't had any meetings to discuss the different status, but the purpose of the group is, my understanding is, we are not there to tell libraries what to do, how to do anything. What we are doing is basically writing recommendations, gathering the research so that different libraries don't have to keep on doing the same research. That, you know, this is a group in the state of Illinois. And so we're basically making recommendations, you know, based on what we think libraries in the state of Illinois are concerned about. And then this is what our recommendations are. But it's up to each library to decide, you know, especially if they're a standalone, what their own practice is going to be and how they are going to do the DEI.
Thank you.
The purpose of our group is not to even help with collection development. I should say, at least not at this point. The main charge right now is to come up with white papers and recommendations.
Thank you, Joy.
Thank you, Joy. And I think, you know, these conversations are so important. I do recommend anyone, you know, even recommending the librarians to be part of this listserv, because I know there's, you know, a lot of questions still that needs to be polished on collection development. And we never know in the future, there, like you said, Joy, there might be a committee that help, you know, that supports, you know, libraries, not telling them what to do, but how to go about it and to better serve our patrons and communities. So next slide, if no one has anything. I don't know why my titles are cutting off, but this slide is for serials.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, that's okay. Just so everyone knows too, just like we always do, this this PowerPoint is published as a PDF on the meetings and documents page on the SWAN support site. And I did check it this morning and I think the titles are displaying. So if you want to review it later, it won't be as confusing. But yes, this is about serials, and I believe the topic was supposed to be the IA serial call number refresh. So we've done a lot of discussions in classes about this topic in the past, but we sometimes notice inconsistencies, and we know some of the people doing these errors might not be in this room, but regardless, it's always good to get a refresh. We can all use one. So I'm going to cover a couple basics of serial call numbers. So as a recap, the majority of serials in SWAN use chronology only. So that's the trade journals, the consumer magazines, newspapers, and that kind of thing. Enumeration is mostly restricted to comic books and academic journals, with some exceptions, of course. The serial call numbers and policies page that's linked here is also a really important resource because it provides information on how call numbers are constructed, the very specific verbiage that you need to use for chronology and enumeration, and even more. So in the screenshot, for example, you can see that months must be in all caps and are restricted to 3 characters. The one exception of that is that highlighted in that seasons row there where fall has 4 letters, and that should be used for both autumn and fall. But all this information is on that serials, call numbers, and policies webpage, so it's good to review if you have a moment. Call numbers for serials they do consist of 2 pieces. So you have that base call number, which is represented by that periodical on this slide. So that's anything preceding the pipe C, and the analytic is which follows the pipe C. That pipe C, anything after that is very important for holds. So when a hold is placed, the user must select a specific item and call number. Only items under the call numbers with that exact analytic can fill that hold. And this includes punctuation and capitalization. So if you could move to the next slide, please.
Sure. Just want to mention that I do know that Claudia has some classes for serials. So if you're, if you're just like me that likes visual and I don't like to read a lot, don't like to use the IKEA documentation too much. So you can also take the class. So if you know someone in your department does serials, totally recommend the classes that Claudia has available that also has a standards that SWAN wants to project.
And Claudia is actually going to be demonstrating that, or not demonstrating the class, but showing that online, those resources a little bit later too. So it's a good teaser.
All righty. So punctuation matters.
Yes.
Mhm.
So you can see here in the screenshot, this is actually pulled from the public catalog Aspen. So when a patron is placing a hold or a staff user, you have all of these options to choose from. Everything in this dropdown is reflecting things that are in that analytic, anything following that pipe C. So you can see there are a lot of inconsistencies. February, for example, versus Feb. That's not following our standards. So changing the way you've constructed your call numbers is resulting in a lot of duplicates and therefore errors. You notice for Feb 7, for example, in that second red block, and Feb 21, those are duplicated because number one, they're in the incorrect case. They need to be all caps, and there also is no comma. So you can see how specific it needs to be. It's very important to put eyes on your call numbers, make sure you're constructing them correctly. And then the final thing here is you'll see also that there's an incorrect 2021 issue in this 2022 record. So because we're getting later toward the end of the year, just a friendly reminder, we post those new titles for the weekly serials publications. Those are available on the SWAN support site right now. And if your library uses serial control, friendly reminder, make sure that when you're ready to begin receiving those 2023 issues, that you've received all outstanding issues in 2022 before transferring your control, if your library transfers your controls to the new BIP. And if your library doesn't and creates a new serial control, that's fine too. Just be very cognizant of which issues you're receiving on which titles. And that's all I have for that.
Yeah, I mean, just to add, I mean, I do understand many of you are very, there's just so much going on with BNT and entering items. So I can see like a lot of like the uppercase and lowercase. I mean, I can see how, if you're doing your labels and that's how you have it for, physical collection. As Sam said, it's so important to try to keep the standard. Also, when placing holds, having that information standard for the patron to see. So that's always a good thing. Alrighty, next slide. Blue Cloud Cataloging Pilot Program recap.
Okay, so that's me, Claudia. For those, well, let me recap the Blue Cloud Cataloging Pilot Program. We did this from April through July of this year. For those who are not familiar, what Blue Cloud Cataloging is a web-based tool for cataloging tasks. So back in April, we had the participating libraries, Alsip, Blue Island, Glen Ellen, LaGrange Park, Tinley Park, and Warrenville, evaluating the usefulness of Blue Cloud templates to streamline the manual input of precats. So when they had to manually enter precats, instead of using the Add Title Wizard in workflows, they were using the built-in templates in Blue Cloud Cataloging. So they tested the 26 format-based templates to create precats, and then they started searching for bibliographic records in Blue Cloud Cataloging and attaching call numbers and items in Blue Cloud Cataloging. We can go to the next slide, please.
Blue Cloud Cataloging continued.
So after this 4-month period, the group received a questionnaire. Of course, we met 4 or 5 times during the pilot program, and I also had one-on-one calls with libraries. And I listed here the main points that they liked or disliked about Blue Cloud Cataloging. So a big thing everybody liked was the precat templates with pre-populated fields. They thought that would streamline and optimize their work. Ability to manually type instead of choosing from the drop down. What I mean is ability to manually type home locations, and will sort of like auto-populate for you instead of choosing that from that drop down. And when searching for bibliographic records, everybody liked that the picture of the item would come up. So that was very nice visual touch, like to match the item with the item you have in hand. However, they disliked some things, and that's a big roadblock for us to opening Blue Cloud Cataloging to additional libraries, is that there are no customized policies. So if you were choosing a home location or an item type, it's not customized to your library. You would have to go through the whole list in the drop down, or start typing the home location or the item type. So that's a big no-no, a big roadblock for now. Also, the inability to see format in the search results. That's so you have to open each result to see if that was an audiobook or a book or a large print. And this too many keyboard clicks to add call numbers. So that was like an annoying feature. You will have to add the auto call number, save, and then go back and edit the call number. So too many clicks and steps to add a call number. And also the 590 tag not displaying search results. That goes with the format not displaying. There were some people from the pilot program that are here. I don't know if you want to talk anything about the Blue Cloud Cataloging program. I know Mary Kelly will talk, but I know Joy was in the program and some other people. So feel free to jump in and add. If nobody has anything, we can go to the next slide, and I'll pass the mic to Mary Kelly.
Oh, quick question, Claudia. Oh, sorry. Quick question, Claudia. For when the picture comes up, is that something that's automatically grabbed from Aspen, or is that like something that is added manually?
It's a web-based services, so I think it comes from Syndetics because of the ISBNs, but I have to check where that comes from.
Okay. All righty. Thank you so much. Will be next. Blue Cloud Cataloging Pilot Program recap continued. I think this is Mary Kelly.
Yes, so this is just the screen that shows, Warrenville is also part of the we use Blue Cloud Acquisitions. And so I'm gonna speak for Gail. I believe that both of us are big fans of the Blue Cloud cataloging. We liked it because rather than having to click on everything, you could just tab your way down the list. If you want to go to the next slide, sir, I can show. I highlighted with yellow stars some of the areas. So when these are all the libraries, I believe this book was an Anne Cleves mystery, The Rising Tide, and you could populate the class scheme, put in your call number. The only thing that we personally didn't like, or I did not care for, was the item home location had to be the same as the current location as available soon for our library purposes in order to get it to populate. If you go to the next screen, it will show that the information pops up in workflows. So where the arrow is, I think you might have skipped. Did you skip a slide?
No, but I can go. Hold on. Sorry. So I think. No,
Yeah,
there's
you
no.
skipped one.
Yes, 12. Okay. There you
So if you look there, that's where it's available soon in the home location, and that's where we have to manually change it. But everything else, the cat buy, the price, the item cat 2, item cat, all the information transferred over seamlessly. And then on the next slide is where it shows how it is correctly populated, and then our on orders we put in discard so they don't go. So if you look at the next screen, sorry.
Sure. I got it. Is that it? Yes.
That's it.
Okay.
So you can see that our on order has been discarded and the new home location is new fic, but it's still showing as current location as available soon, because sometimes we catalog things that have a street date that we don't obviously put out for the patrons until the street date. So that is how it is done here. So we are big fans of Blue Cloud cataloging. We are continuing to use it. I know some libraries did not care for it as much. I don't know if it's because we're in acquisitions as well. It just seems to work for us. And Gail and I have gotten into a rhythm. I don't know, Gail, if you want to unmute yourself and throw your 2 cents in, but I think you had some things that you liked about it.
I think it's absolutely wonderful. I love it. And I have to do it with, I like it better with dual monitors. So I will say that, because at the moment we are switching back and forth between workflows and Blue Cloud, because we have to discard that other record anyways. And we have to print our spine labels, which is only done through workflows. So I think as Blue Cloud evolves and moves forward, it's going to take over most of that kind of stuff. So I'm really excited to see where this actually ends up. I enjoyed a lot.
And I see that Diana from LaGrange Park likes it, loves it too. So that's exciting.
From the 6 libraries that were part of the pilot program, 4 will continue using it. So that's good. And we are constantly on the alert for updates. And as soon as those like roadblocks are resolved, like the customized policies, fewer clicks in the holdings maintenance screen to add call number and item, we'll definitely offer to bring more libraries on board. I just want to clarify that Blue Cloud cataloging is not a tool to be used by itself. So you have to use it alongside workflows for now, and I think for quite a while. So nobody needs to be worried about having to learn a new ILS or a new system or different interface. When we open for more libraries, it will be totally optional. And as I said, if there have been new developments.
Yeah,
Thank you,
it's good.
everyone.
It's good to hear. I have a question for you, Claudia. I know you mentioned that it still needs to be worked on with workflows. If it's worked by itself, would it be for like simple things like I mean, I think it'll be more for circ than if it was like just
Yes, you can do some tasks only in Blue Cloud, but you still have to go in workflows because of, especially because of the dynamic indexing in Blue Cloud. If you enter a pre-cat or a bibliographic record in Blue Cloud, you're not going to see it right away in Blue Cloud because the index runs every 2 hours. So if you want to see the record right away or do some changes, you have to go in workflows. And I am speaking for Crystal here, correct me anyone if I'm wrong, but even for Blue Cloud Circ, there are certain tasks that you still have to go into Blue Cloud, into workflows to perform. So Blue Cloud Circ is way more developed than Blue Cloud cataloging, and they still have to go to workflows for some tasks. So it is a complementary tool. It's not ready to be used by itself.
Just a recap. You said that it updates every 2 hours. So if let's say someone did try to use Blue Cloud, will the update
it will show if you enter a record in Blue Cloud cataloging, it will show in workflows right away.
Okay.
But it won't, if you do the same search in Blue Cloud, it will not bring up the record immediately.
Oh, interesting.
Let's say if indexes at 9 a.m. and at 11 a.m., if you enter a pre-cat at 9:05 a.m., it's not going to show in Blue Cloud until 11 a.m. But if you enter a pre-cat in Blue Cloud at 10:55 a.m., it will show at 11 a.m. So you have to be mindful of those indexes times.
Okay, that's good to hear. I mean, we're still, I guess, testing out this new technology, and it's nice
Right.
This is Joy. The other drawback is that you can't create a pre-cat in Blue Cloud. You have to go into workflows.
Well, you can create a pre-cat using one of the format templates in Blue Cloud. That's what
that's what I was doing. Basically, you can't bring in a OCLC record without having a pre-cat to overlay. And as an OCLC library, that was an issue for me.
Yeah, the purpose of that pilot program, it was really directed at pre-cat libraries because of the format-based pre-cat templates. So there were a couple of cataloging libraries there, but it was really, the goal was for pre-cat libraries. So yeah, but let's keep an eye for new developments, and we always do the Blue Cloud updates, and you will see when there's something new. Yeah.
All righty. Very good. Very good. Thank you, Joy. So now we got the Swan Online Learning Systems. Claudia, she's amazing, honestly.
Thank you. Okay, so the Swan Online Learning System. Currently, we have 10 courses in circulation and technical services. Those are online self-paced courses. You can take it for a few minutes, stop and go back and continue, which is helpful, I think. So under meetings and trainings, and then Swan Online Learning, you can access the online learning system. You need to create an account before accessing the courses. However, before we approve your account, you have to have your information up to date in L2. So make sure you're linked to your library in L2. And currently we have 180 users, which is great. We can go to the next slide. Sorry, thanks. And I listed here the courses we have in circulation and technical services. So Crystal created circulation, I created technical services, and we are constantly updating. We are going to do a big course review in October, November, December. So yeah, I highly encourage you or new staff or staff who just wants a refresh on certain tasks to check out those courses.
Yes, and just a reminder, even with cereals, I can't stress this enough. A lot of us, even myself, sometimes need a refresher. Sometimes going through these courses and even if you want to do like learn something new, it's definitely the place to begin. So if you know of anybody who would take advantage of these courses, please let them know. Thank you, Claudia.
You're
Van,
welcome. And we welcome feedback also on the courses. So yeah, you can send a ticket or email myself or Crystal, and we're always looking for feedback and ideas.
awesome, awesome. Now we have banned books challenges. I know a lot of talk has been done in the news and in libraries about banned books. I know much of our acquisitions and tech groups don't really do much frontline work, but I do know a lot of us have dual roles within our roles. And things like this do affect us. Always sad to see if like someone, says, please take this book out of the collection. It's good to have that conversation and to understand how patrons are reacting to the news and how us as departments are dealing with this issue. So it's good to know from, if you can unmute yourself or write in text. Um,
Rebecca noted in chat, she said, we've just updated our collection development policy to restrict reconsideration requests to LaGrange residents only and linked to a web page. She said this was in response to a non-resident patron who requested 2 books to be removed from our children's collection.
oh, and I sorry, I didn't catch the last part. Were they removed or?
Yeah, she's saying no, we retained them in the children's collection, and it looks like they restricted the policy to possibly reconsider removing books if they do decide to do so to residents only. And so this response, this initial request was from a non-resident, so that prompted them to revise their policy. That's what I'm getting from this. Thank you for Rebecca for sharing.
Thank you, Rebecca. Yeah, I think it's always good to to know like our policies and see how um our library stands on this topic. I know for much of Illinois, thank God we're open to standing our ground in promoting literature and not restricting. But because of how our society is changing, staying up to date with policies and how, um, even though we're not in the front lines, how at the end of the day it trickles down into a domino effect and how we deal with it as departments is so important. So if there's nothing else to add, I'll just go to the next slide. Next meeting, drum roll. So stay tuned for 2023 scheduled meeting dates. Also, let's talk workshop. What do you guys want to see? We're still in talks. It's not something that's official. I think because this group has definitely developed in many ways and many changes have come about, I do want to get a consensus of what you guys want to see. I do know for Mary Kelly, the workshop that she did with book repair was very popular. I did see in the forums a lot of people couldn't make it, and they really just want more. So is book repair or any topic that you would like included in a future present workshop be something that you guys would be interested?
Diana has added in the chat that book repair. Laconi had one that she missed. So that does seem to be a really popular topic, as you said.
And I've had, I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but I did have someone reach out to me for our contacts information for the program that we had on our book repair workshop. On the very last slide, and don't feel the need to fast forward to the last slide, but on the very last slide, we have our information listed. You can always reach out to any one of us. I would be happy to share any contact information I have, but if you wanted to have a book repair workshop at your library.
Yeah, Mary Kelly, you're the chair of a Laconi program where we will be incorporating book repair, correct? In
Yes,
November of, however, it's not until November of 2023.
yes. So that is in the works. And Amanda Masaccio will be the presenting, one of the presenters for that. She's the chair of the COD LTA program, College of DuPage, sorry, College of DuPage.
So yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the big topics. I know I did discuss something in the forum about possibly having acquisitions module. I did think of, we as a team try to include it in this presentation. However, I do think that the module does need a little bit more work, but unless you guys feel that there's another topic that needs to be discussed, we can also discuss that. So yeah, I mean, keep spread the word, keep, you know, sharing your ideas, and anything can make progress, you know, and everybody here present today is a leader and can make a difference. So don't think because sometimes we're barricaded with books, nothing can happen, but yes, things can change. It just takes one person. So if any other suggestions on the workshops, I'll just continue to learning opportunities. So just remember that we will be starting the 2023 year. If you want to, you know, present the slide or feel passionate about a topic that you want to include, I will, you know, invite any of you to participate, because, you know, even though me and Mary Kelly are co-chairs and we're supported by the SWAN group, I encourage anyone who wants to participate in any way to reach out to us, or, you know, wants to share a topic. You can email us or the SWAN team to get that started. Our meeting dates are posted in L2. As Claudia did mention, you know, there's that SWAN classes available for anyone who wants to learn more, you know, a refresher on what are their role or other people's roles. Also look forward for the workshop that we're planning. And on learning opportunities, I do want to ask, and I know we haven't done this in the past, but well, you never know. If you know someone in CERC, I know a lot of our departments are down and looking for hiring. So if you guys are hiring, just post it on the chat. So if you guys know of anyone, and we can have those roles filled, I think it's always good to share and help others as well.
If I can interject really quickly, Sarai, we did have one more comment in the chat for a recommended workshop, Blue Cloud Analytics for Acquisitions. So I think that was a good suggestion from Amy Weiss. We have discussed, I think you were alluding to this before, the possibility of, and I think more than a possibility, I think what we want to develop for 2023 would be an acquisitions focused workshop where we highlight various, and maybe even a series, various workflows, because we all know that things can be done very differently with most things, but especially acquisitions. And people have their procedures they've developed in-house, and often it helps to hear from your colleagues. So I think that's something we would be really interested in doing. If you feel that you have a workflow that is very interesting to you, you found it helps you quite a bit, and you're interested in participating, please reach out to us. I think the best way to do that, and even to submit other workshop topics, other than reaching out to your co-chairs, would be to send in a ticket so we can funnel them through a central resource, and we can make sure everybody's voice is heard, and provide you with the best possible workshops in 2023. So just think about it. And that's all. I just wanted to add that. Thank you.
Oh, no, great. Yeah, I think, as well, if you know that someone could benefit from this workshop, do share the word, because I know even though directors or other librarians may not be working directly within our roles, but indirectly they do other roles that this workshops can help them, or sometimes they assist you when times are down in their work, and they assist you if you feel you can share this information. Do share. Remember, this users group, although it's targeted for acquisitions and cataloging, we do understand that a lot of staff do work indirectly or directly within these roles or departments. So this is the end of our meeting. Just stay tuned for the next meeting. And my name is Sarai Barrios. I work at Eisenhower, and I was your presenter today, and look forward to see you. And my co-chair, Mary Kelly Marquez, she is from Warrenville. And of course, we have our SWAN team, Samantha Dito, Claudia Nixon, Vicky Toden, and Scott Branwin. So let us know, and stay tuned.
Thank you to the co-chairs and Sarai for driving. I'm going to stop the recording, and we'll stay connected for a bit in case you have questions, and if anyone doesn't want to be recorded. So let me do that now.